Hello students and welcome in the video session of class 10 science chapter 2 life process. This is video 5 of the chapter. Let's have a quick look on the learning objectives. Transportation in humans, blood vascular system, blood and its composition, functions of blood, blood clotting, blood vessels and the difference between arteries and veins are the following topics to be covered in the video session. So let's start with. Now transportation in humans. Transportation is the life process in which the substance which is synthesized or absorbed in the body is to be carried to other parts of the body. Now, which substances are synthesized or absorbed which are to be transported? So, let's have a look. The substances like oxygen, CO2, digested food, hormones, excretory products, etc., are some of the substances which have to be transported by some special transport systems. And in humans, we have two types of circulatory systems or two types of transportation systems. One is blood vascular system and the other one is lymphatic system. So today we have in the session we will cover the blood vascular system. Lymphatic will cover in next one. So let's start with the blood vascular system. A blood vascular system. Now let us first discuss why the word vascular is used here. Vascular word is used because the blood, which is a fluid and which is carrying all the substances from one place to another, flows in the tube like structures. Okay, so when the circulatory medium is flowing in the tube, the system is called vascular. Okay, is this clear to you all? So a blood vascular system is that which has tubes which are full of blood fluid to be transported from one place to another. Now this blood vascular system consists of two main parts. One is heart which pumps the blood and receives the blood, and the blood vessels. These blood vessels are the tubes through which the blood flows. Okay. Now blood vessels are of three types. One is arteries, second veins, and third one is capillaries. Right? Arteries are symbolized with red color because arteries are the tubes which always carry oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood means the blood which is rich in oxygen. Okay. So they will carry the blood from heart to different parts of the body. Then veins. Veins are symbolized by blue color. These are those tubes which carry the deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood means the blood which is rich in CO2, right? And the network between the arteries and the veins, or the small tubes which connect the arteries with the veins, are called the capillaries. Okay? Arteries end up in small tubes called capillaries. These capillaries again combine together to form the vein. Fine. So let us discuss it in detail. Now, first one is blood and its composition. What is blood and what does it contains? So blood is a mobile. Mobile means it can move. Red color fluid that flows in the blood vessels. It's a complex connective tissue. This you have studied in class 9. Okay. This blood carries the nutrients and oxygen to all the living cells, and it also helps to remove the waste products from the cells. Then blood consists of two main parts. One is plasma. Plasma is the liquid part of the blood. This plasma is of yellow in color and it consists of 75% water. Okay. Then the second component is blood corpuscles. Blood corpuscles means blood cells. So as it is a complex tissue, so it consists of different types of cells. Let us see which cells are present in this. First is RBC, that is red blood corpuscles. Okay. As the name only suggests, they are red in color. Diagram also you can see here, these are RBCs. These are spherical in shape and they are looking red because of the presence of a red color pigment which is called hemoglobin. Okay. Then the next cell is WBC, white blood cells. White blood cells fight against the germs, so they are the soldiers of the body, and the structure is shown here in the diagram. Right? Then third type of cell is platelets. Platelets structure is given here, and these platelets also have a special role in the blood clotting. So let's now discuss what are the functions of the blood. Now the first function is transportation of soluble digested food from small intestine to various parts of the body. That means blood carries the digested food from small intestine to all the parts of the body. Second is blood also carries the excretory materials from the different cells to the organs of excretion. Then third, it also carries hormones. Now hormones are secreted from the at the glands, and they have to function at some other areas, and those areas are called target organs. So to carry the hormones from endocrine glands to the target organ is also a function of blood. Then blood also help in maintaining a constant body temperature. And how does the blood do it? Blood distributes the excess heat from one part of the body to another, and that's how it maintains the constant temperature. Then blood transports oxygen, okay, and the red pigment present in RBCs, that is hemoglobin, combines with oxygen and forms a compound oxyhemoglobin. Here Hg does not mean mercury, Hg means hemoglobin, combines with oxygen and forms HgO2. This is the complex form here, which is oxyhemoglobin. You can see here, this is hemoglobin plus oxygen, and it forms oxyhemoglobin. This is red color oxyhemoglobin. And when it reaches to the cells, oxygen is released outside and hemoglobin remains like spindle form here. Then blood also carries CO2. Then blood has the property to clot. Clot means if there is some injury, blood automatically stops coming outside, and that is blood clotting. Okay. Then WBCs which are present in the blood also act as soldiers to kill the bacteria. So to fight with the germs is also one of the function of blood. Then it acts as buffer and maintain a constant pH. Okay. It acts as a buffer. Now let us see what is buffer. Buffer are those solutions which help to maintain the pH level of the solution. So blood is also acting as a buffer. Blood always maintain a normal pH level of the body. And how does it do so? If there is excess H plus ions due to which the body medium becomes acidic, so blood will remove the excess of H plus ions. And if there is less H plus ions, then blood will donate some H plus ions to the body so that the pH level remains constant. Okay. Now let's move on to the next slide and see what is blood clotting. So whenever there is any tissue ruptured or any cut on the body, blood naturally comes out. And if it is not treated, then due to excessive loss of blood, the person can die also. However, our body has also a mechanism to stop the flow of blood, and that mechanism is known as blood clotting. And the cell which is responsible for blood clotting is the platelets. Now, how the platelets do this, let us discuss. So, in the region of injury, what happens? The platelets rupture. So, the first step is the platelets will rupture and they will release a substance which is called thromboplastin. Right? Then, this thromboplastin will convert prothrombin protein into thrombin. Okay, so what is the function of thromboplastin? It will convert prothrombin protein into thrombin. And this prothrombin protein is formed in the liver in presence of vitamin K. Okay. Now thrombin is produced. This thrombin will change the fibrinogen protein into fibrin. This thrombin will convert fibrinogen protein into fibrin. This fibrin is nothing but the long fiber form. Okay, in the diagram here you can see long fibers present, and these fibrin fibers will make a network here, and in this network all the cells of the blood will be collected. Okay, they will get entrapped here, and this is nothing but the blood clot. When all the cells of the blood gets entrapped at a place, this is called blood clot. So platelets help in blood clotting and prevent the excessive loss of blood from the body. Right? Let's move on to the next slide and see what are blood vessels. Now blood vessels are the tubes which carry the blood. Now there are three kinds of blood vessels present in humans. First one is arteries, then veins, and then capillaries. So arteries are the thick-walled blood vessels. As they are thick-walled, so they carry the blood away from the heart. They are attached to heart. Heart pumps the blood forcefully into the arteries, and these arteries will carry the blood away from the heart. Okay? These walls of the arteries are thick, but they are elastic also. They can also expand due to the high pressure of the heart. Now, blood passing through the narrow lumen. Lumen is the space present inside the arteries. Okay. So, arteries, because their walls are thick, so the space inside is very less. So, arteries have a narrow lumen. And this narrow lumen of the arteries carry the aerated blood. Aerated blood means the blood which is rich in oxygen. And there is a considerable pressure also. Okay. Then, next one is veins. Veins are the thin-walled blood vessels. Their walls are thin and they carry the blood from the body to the heart. Okay? And there is no pressure inside the veins. So the blood flows very smoothly and it holds more blood because the walls are thin, so the inside space is more. And the blood which the veins are carrying, they are non-aerated. Non-aerated means it has less oxygen, or you can say it has more CO2, and the pressure is also low. Now veins have some extra structure present here, that is valve, which were absent in arteries. Now these valves allow only a unidirectional flow of blood, means the blood can flow in only one direction, that is towards the heart. Backward flow of blood is prevented by these valves. And there is no need of valves in the arteries because already the blood flows in a great pressure here. Okay? Then the third one is capillaries. Capillaries are the thin-walled and extremely narrow, which occurs at the terminals of artery and veins. Right? Now you can see here there is artery and here it is vein. These arteries at the end divide into small tubes which are called capillaries. And these capillaries again unite together to form the vein. Okay? Now these capillaries are highly thin-walled and these are the place where the exchange of materials takes place. Exchange of gases, exchange of food material, exchange of waste products all takes place through the capillaries. And we can also define that capillaries join the arteries and the veins together. Okay? Walls of the capillaries are permeable to water and dissolved substances so that the exchange of materials between the blood and the body cells takes place. So they are highly permeable. The wall of the capillary is highly permeable and it allows the entry and the exit of the substances properly. Okay. Then these capillaries are present at the cell or the tissue level. Capillaries are not seen anywhere. Capillaries are only seen near the cells or near the tissues where the arteries end and the veins start. So at those points capillaries can be seen. Now let's move on and see the difference between the arteries and the veins. Arteries are the tubes which carry the blood away from the heart, and veins are the tubes which carry the blood towards the heart. Veins are collecting the CO2 and the other uh, waste through the cells and carry that waste consisting blood towards the heart. Okay? So arteries, in the arteries the blood flows under high pressure, whereas in case of veins the blood flows under low pressure. Why there is high pressure? Because the heart is pumping the blood into the arteries, so there is a high pressure inside the arteries. Then the arteries are thick walls, whereas the veins are thin walled. Then in the arteries the flow is pulse flow. Pulse flow means contraction and relaxation, rhythmic contraction and relaxation because of the great pressure. Whereas in case of veins, the flow is smooth because there is no pressure, so the blood flows smoothly. Then in the arteries, there is narrow lumen because the walls are very thick, so the space left inside is very less. So there is narrow lumen. Whereas in case of vein, there is a large lumen because walls are thin, so inside space is more. Then in arteries, there is no valve present. There is no need of wall inside because already the blood flows in a great pressure. And in veins, valves are present, and the function of these valves is to prevent the backflow of blood. Okay? Now, arteries carry the blood which is rich in oxygen, whereas that is oxygenated blood. And veins carry the blood which is poor in oxygen, which is called deoxygenated blood. But there is exception in arteries as well as in vein. Okay? Means all the arteries carry oxygenated blood except one, that is pulmonary artery. This pulmonary artery is an exception which carries the deoxygenated blood. And in veins also, all the veins carry deoxygenated blood, but there is one exceptional vein which is called pulmonary vein, and this pulmonary vein will carry the oxygenated blood. Okay, so these are the differences between arteries and veins here. So in the diagram also you can see this red color shows the arteries and the blue color one shows the veins. Okay, now let us summarize what we have done today. So we have seen the transportation in humans, blood vascular system, composition of the blood, functions of blood, blood clotting, blood vessels, and the difference between the arteries and veins. I hope this is clear to you all. If any doubts, you can ask. Okay? So till then, stay home and stay safe.